Welcome back, Ryan. Great to have you. And I always say this is one of my favorite questions. Influencers come in all sizes, shapes, you name it, sometimes for a minute, sometimes for a lifetime. Can you share with us two or maybe three people that have been influencers in your life?
Absolutely. The first person that comes to mind is my Nana. She passed away a few years ago, but the reason I think she's a large influencer is she's one of these leaders. There's a saying from the Art of War about is a ranking of leaders of the worst ones are the ones you hate, and then above that's the ones you fear, and then above that's the ones you love. But the top type of leader is the one you don't even know exists. And I remember at my Nana's funeral, there were so many people there, and I was speaking to a friend of mine who explained to me how when his younger sister actually was going through a teenage pregnancy, no one knew except for my Nana, because my Nana knew her. She worked at a nursing home where my grandfather was, and so she found consolation in my Nana, who helped her through the whole process and evidently quilted her a whole blanket and all these types of things. And and this is something about my Nana, that she was the most loving and caring person, but she was also this very skinny with a cigarette always hanging out of her mouth, and she cursed like a sailor, but she was so strong yet so caring and loving, and was a leader in the community, not in a way of like, look at me, I'm running for but this the leader that you don't even know that's there, but really works on and does many of the things that's the most impactful. And I guess that's I keep her in mind as a sort of standard.
Good choice.
Yeah, other leaders. The next person who comes to my mind is Dr. Jack Lane, in case he's listening here. He was a professor at DePaul University, where I did my undergrad, and he was in the world of organizational development. And I was a student body president there at DePaul. And I think one of the things I learned from him, and I put the language on it now, but is emotional intelligence. I think using your heart and your head at the same time. I mean, he was a Harvard-educated PhD, very intelligent on how organizations work, and and I found it super interesting to learn from him there intellectually, but heart-wise, there was sometimes I would get angry or give speeches, and he could tell sometimes they were very dry or overly intellectual and not connecting with the heart. And he was he taught me, I guess it was also being a man and being caring in a way. There was something that he demonstrated that sticks in my head, that he's a partial role model there for me as well. So there's a couple. There's any number of people at the moment. I know they're kind of public intellectuals or people that I come across. I think Jonathan Haidt and some of his work in moral psychology is really interesting. I find people that can make complex ideas simple, I think, are not simple, not overly simple, but understandable. I think I have a lot of time for, and that maybe to a point you pointed out earlier, that bring in that human dimension. I think is something that I admire in a lot of different leaders there. So.
No, that's awesome. I had a Deloitte partner who was an influencer, and he told me early on, I must have been 21, 22, he said, brilliance is simple. And as a typical 21-year-old, I, of course, knew exactly what he was talking about, but I didn't. But then I realized, it's what you're saying, making complex issues simple to some degree. And then the answer is brilliantly simple. And because we can over expert. So thanks so much for sharing that. I had a grandfather who was an influencer, also kind of like Nana, and he would smile at everybody, and I would ask him, how do you know all these people? He says, I don't know most of them, but when I smile at them, they smile back. And sometimes they even talk to me,
Yeah.
you know? So
Yeah.
welcome to humanity. Hey, thanks so much for sharing this. And it's great to see you again.
Yeah. You too. Thank you so much, Mark.